So I went and pinned the end of the crack, basically just, you know, drilled a little spot out, so if the crack hits it, it can't go any further. We're gonna fill that in with weld, and then we got this drilled out to 3/4, so that fits in there nicely. We'll get that welded on, and we should be good to go. All right, so we got water out of the bleed port, cracked that guy, we got water coming out of there. So I think we're good to go. All right, it's not to be dramatic, but I guess moment of truth. Got the pressure tester on here. Got it cranked up to, you know, roughly 15. I guess it's a pound over right now, but we're gonna see if it holds pressure and if anything starts leaking. So let's go take a tour of the car and see what's going on. It's been about 10 minutes and still nothing coming out of this fitting. So I'm satisfied enough. Let's put this stuff back together. All right, schedules have been a little hectic lately. I really don't get more than like 10 or 20 minutes out here at any given time. But engine's reassembled. With that done, I did finish out the fuel cell mount. I did also build a bracket for the surge tank. It's nothing fancy, nothing laser cut or anything like that. I just did the old-fashioned way with a marker, some roller, drill die grinder, and some files. But looks pretty good. Everything's painted in Pour 15 because I didn't feel like masking everything off to prevent an overspray. So I just, you know, used a firm brush to apply that. So everything's nice and coated. Now I can put the anti-vibration pads on, and then we'll fire it up and see what happens, I guess. I don't know. If you didn't know by now, I don't know what I'm doing. We're just trying things. There we go. Not too bad. That's pretty much, you know, you got a finger between the end of the bolt head. So that's about as tight as I wanted it. Could you go tighter? Maybe. Should you? I don't know. But that's kind of how I did it. We now have this front lip that is level with the front of the tank. So the straps now, instead of coming over and then hooking under, are gonna come over and they'll just terminate here. I don't know, it seems like a better idea to me. Let's go weld this dude up. Doesn't look too bad. For those that were wondering, this came with a one of these style floaty guys. That won't work with the foam, so we got a tube style. And this is definitely gonna suck to put in. There's no way this doesn't look like I'm like fisting a horse. hot. It's like 90 something out. I'm weirdly nervous. The anxiety's running a little high, and I think at this point we just need to rip the Band-Aid, fire this thing up, and see what's probably not working now that I've had this thing ripped apart a bunch. So I got the laptop hooked up. We got the battery back in. Fluids are filled up. Let's see if it starts. No leaks from there. Well, repair seems to be holding. That's nice. Shockingly enough, I only had one major leak, and that was from the oil pressure temperature sending unit, the fitting where it goes into the block. So aside from the water pump one that we fixed, no more leaks at this time. As far as updates go, also got the axles in, and I'll show you this purple wire. And that purple wire goes to that start button, so now I can start the car from the driver's seat. And it's about as temporary as you can get. It's clamped in place and just run directly to the battery. It's not even fused. So other than the addition of the starter button, there's really no change to the inside of the cockpit area. The wiring is still gross and messy, and something to contend with in the near future. So we have our battery ratchet strapped in place. We have our aforementioned starter button, and that's about it. We do have a wire running to the alternator now, but I don't have the alternator itself hooked up because I still have to get the trigger set up. Up front, the fuel system is now mostly set up. I still need to build a bracket for the main filter and the main pump. The main pump being the one that feeds the surge tank from the fuel cell. This guy up front is our vent line, which is just zip tied in place back there. Again, nothing fancy, all temporary, everything's zip tied. The mounts I want to redo. I'm not super happy with those, but it'll get us going for now. The blue wire that's just hanging out up here is for our fans, which we don't have yet. Fuel pump's wired in, everything's plumbed and ready to go there. We do have the entire fuel system plumbed. There's nothing else to hook up, so that's good. Radiator, still good. Cooling system, still good. No leaks. Everything is good to go there. So this is what it's like from the driver's seat. Yes, I can hit the alternator with my elbow. I mean, there'll be a firewall there eventually, but for right now, yes, it's all exposed. There's no mirrors or anything, so backing up will be fun, but at least I got a clear view out the back, so we should be good there. So yeah, battery ratchet strapped in the passenger footwell area. I think that's where it's going to land. I still have to do some final figuring there. No, there's no floor at all to the car. No floor. This is the ECU trigger. Flip this on, the commands the Haltech on. Then the Haltech then tells the relays what to do. Bird's nest situation. We have our power and alternator and all that good stuff coming through here. We also have our ground, cooling tubes, shifter situation. This thing is still awesome. I still love everything. I might want it a little bit further that way. I don't know. We'll figure that out. Handbrake still here. Eventually this will have a flip down to hold it if I need to keep the car in position for any, length of time, maybe, a few minutes here and there. It's not meant to be like a full-time parking brake. I'm not going to sit here with the car with this applied for weeks on end. But if I just need to sit it in place for a few minutes, that'll be that option. Our aforementioned engine start button. Obviously dash isn't in. We don't have a floor. We don't have a windshield. That is the view from the driver's seat though. And I do sit down here pretty low. I've got gobs of clearance up here, so and we might adjust the seating position, so sit a little bit higher because I am sitting pretty low. So yeah, that's the view from the cockpit. That's your really nice ergonomic distance there. Steering wheel's bolted in. There's our pedal situation. As I mentioned, no floor. But so I know it's been a minute, but now I can show you. When I was kind of thinking about the ergonomics of the pedal position, I had heel toeing in mind. So here's kind of what I got going on. Again, proof of concept. I don't know if this will work with actual driving, but there's your throw on the accelerator pedal. And then when you brake, see how it's right there. So I can just quick flip the throttle. The other thing I will need to address is this bar. This is obviously awful. So we'll need to figure that out. Clutch. Looks like it hits, but it doesn't. And we still have the brake switches and stuff that we need to hook up for like launch control, anti-lag, that kind of thing. So there you go. There's a tour of the car and kind of state of the union on where things are at. All the base vehicle functions appear to be functioning. There's no fluid leaks at the moment, subject to change at any time, of course, but there's no floor, there's no windshield, there's no firewall, bulkhead. We've got quite a few temporary solutions in place, but despite all that, I think it's time. Such a stupid car. That's awesome. No way. He said just down the cul-de-sac. What a liar. He was trying not to smile the whole time. Look at that. Dude. And there you have it. Project Becky is officially a running, driving car. So what's next? Well, we got to jump back on the wiring, get the engine bay cleaned up. We got to get those Deutsch connectors put in. We have to get the cooling fan installed and wired up, the fuel pump wired up. Got to build a bracket for the fuel pump and the filter. Get the dash figured out, the gauges figured out, and then whatever we figure out wired in. We have to finish out the roll cage. Got to build the ducting for all the things that are in the rear. And then it's onto the body, which is the part that I'm looking most forward to, because that will really kind of flesh out this concept that's just been banging around in my head this whole time. So I am looking forward to that. But until then, thanks as always for hanging out. I will see you in the next one.